Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy Prokopis. I am the author of young adult novels like the science fiction novel, The Arena, and the fantasy romance, Guardians of the Sixth Gate. So welcome to my channel. I have a very important project going right now. So today starts the read through of my sequel to Guardians of the Sixth Gate, which is called Shade of the Shadowlands. It will be the middle book, so it's the second of 3, and I'm going to start my read through today. So just for some context, let me explain exactly what a read through is for me. So when I read through the novel, what I do is I print it out and I put it in a binder, which is what I've done. It's right here. And I go through it and I read it in as close to one sitting as I can. For me, that ends up being about 2 days now, just because I have to break it up with Finn because I'm a mom. I have things around the house to do for him. So I usually ends up being a weekend. So what I do is I pick a weekend and all I'm doing is reading through the book. I don't change anything. As far as editing goes, I'm not making any kind of adjustments. I'm just reading it, and I make notes in the margin. I usually use a red pen because it's easy to see on a page. And I also use different flags for things like general. I'll mark a page if there's a general mistake. I use these orange ones if it's a plot-based mistake, oh my gosh, or something I need to add or adjust. That way, these are easy to come back to when I'm doing my big edit and plot and character development if I need to down the road. So that is how I do the read through. So what I do is after I finish draft 1, I let the book sit. I don't do anything with it or any kind of adjustments for a month. Really, it's as long as I can do it for my deadlines. I try to make it a month. So in this case, I finished draft 1 because I always write it out on the draft. I finished it October 16th. So it is now December 18th. So it's been a while since I have come back to this novel, and I'm super excited to do that. And I am going to show you guys exactly what that process looks like for me. Okay, Finn has been put down for a nap, and I am ready to start my read through. So I think I'm gonna do it in the form of some sprints. So I'm gonna read through, give myself maybe 30 minutes to commit and get into it. And then I don't know that I'm really gonna need to do the sprints. I think everything will just kind of come together after that. So that is the plan. Let's jump into it. Before I jump into it, I just wanted to take a look. Oh, I don't have the pages numbered. I was gonna tell you guys how many pages this book is, but I don't have them numbered. I'm sure it's comparable to Guardians of the Sixth Gate though, which was 304. Let me look. I'm gonna need a copy of this anyway, just in case I need to reference something. So we'll keep that, but it's probably about a 300 page book. So now we'll get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I am almost 2 chapters in, and I've marked some pages with the purple flags, which are grammar mistakes, nothing in orange yet. And everything I've marked has been pretty minor and nitpicky, and like really nitpicky, which is a good thing because it means that that so far what I've written is solid enough that to find anything wrong with it, I have to get detailed. And that's exactly what you want, because if I'm going to send this off to a professional editor, I want it to be worth my time, and I don't want them editing all these little nitpicky grammar things. I want them to be looking at the story. So I'm pretty pleased so far. I am going to continue to the end of this chapter, and maybe I'll make a cup of tea. I don't know. But so far, so good. Whew. I made tea. I'm taking a short interlude to let June out between editing. So far, so good. Just like I said earlier, it's been just really small, mostly grammar, spelling mistakes, so nothing too big. I'm pretty pleased with it so far. And I've gotten to some tension between some characters. If you've read Guardians of the Sixth Gate, then you know that going into the second one, there's a bit of tension between Tori and Jamie, which are my main characters. So I've gotten to the part where they kind of address that. And I'm really satisfied with the way it reads so far. So once June finishes up out here, we are going to go back in and get straight into it. We are into chapter 5 now. So next time you see me, I will be reading. One of the really fun things about reading your work, other than like the not so great side where you find all the mistakes and wonder why the heck you wrote what you wrote, but you also find some like really good gems, and I found several of them so far. I found a lot of lines that I really like. I actually haven't found very many that I want to reword, and I just wanted to share one with you. The description, it says, a smile spreading wider and wider until it was pulled past the point of humanity. And that was just, it made me stop and go, whoa, that's really eerie. I'm thinking Slender Man now. When you guys read it in the context, you'll understand. Obviously it's a demon. But that's just such a good line. Oh my gosh. A smile pulled past the normal point of humanity. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna get back to it now. Did not get quite as much done as I'd hoped. I wanted to get halfway into my read through, and I'm a couple chapters short of that. So there are 28 chapters in Shades of the Shadowlands, at least there are right now. And I read up to chapter 13, I think. So I'm a little short, but tomorrow, I have a little less to do tomorrow. I don't have any of the video editing and such, so I'm expecting to be able to finish it all tomorrow. So that's the plan. But for tonight, I need to switch gears. I need to go back to writing Winter Witches. So I'm on my deadline for that. So tomorrow, we will get back to the read-through of Shade of the Shadowlands. Morning! It's the next day. I'm dressed in gym clothes by Gymshark. I'm going to get back to reading through Shade of the Shadowlands here in just a second. Things are like, let me restart. I'm not finding any big problems. Let's say that. Everything I am finding so far has been a purple tab, like one of those flags. It's been purple, which means it's just grammar, those kind of adjustments, true, like line edits, nothing plot-wise. But I will say, I feel there's been a lot of action so far. There have been 2 different attacks in this book, but I don't know why. Something about, I think it's just a slow build, maybe. It feels a little slow. So maybe when I get to the end, I will decide if I need to insert some things. I remember now when I was writing it that I had this idea that I would end up inserting a couple scenes in places. And I think I know why now. I think it's because it feels a little bit like there's lag time between point A and B, almost a little too much. I don't think a little lag time's too bad, but I think I might end up adding some scenes, but I might not know what those need to be until I finish the read through. So, I've only just read 2 chapters. We have our first 2 orange tabs right here. There's one here and there's one over here. So again, the orange tabs are plot issues and it's still pretty minor. I already have in mind a super easy fix for that to keep a lot of the dialogue that I had going the same because the dialogue was good. It's going well. Again, I'm really only finding minor mistakes. I know this looks like a lot, but something to consider is that the way I've printed the document, there are 4 pages here, and I'm putting like a purple tab down for all 4 of those pages. So really, there's not very many mistakes, and a lot of them are super nitpicky. So I'm pleased with the way it's going. So I just got to a really big plot point, like a big shift in some character things. And I really like the way I've worded it. It's super cold and it's very shocking. Almost, I wouldn't say it's too shocking, but it's really out of the blue and it's going to change a lot of things for book 3. Not so much for this book. It's set up for book 3. So I'm really moving. I am officially about halfway into the book, so lots left to read, but I think I can get it all done today and give you guys my final thoughts. So super great. All right, so I just got through the halfway point in my read through. I'm going to take a short pause to make lunch for Finn because time is starting to get away from me. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make my own lunch and then we will get back to the read through here in a second. Since I mentioned it earlier, I know I said that I felt like there were things missing or like I was lagging from point A to B in the plot. I just got to the midway point of the book where some big details come up, some really important little details. They're not like the big overarching plot, but they become really important to that, like supporting evidence kind of. And I'm realizing that some of those details I need to include more earlier in the story. So that'll help with some of that feeling of having like missing pieces of the plot. So I think that's going to make a big difference. Adding some of those little details in. I think some scenes that I'm missing are more to do with one of my secondary characters that I introduce. I think what I need to do is build more of that relationship because it's hinted at like a possible love triangle. And I think I might build more on that trope. So I think that might be something I add in also. I need to make that note on my draft right now before I forget about that. But so far, I like what I've written and I'm not finding anything majorly that I need to change, which is a really good thing. just scenes that I feel like I need to add, which is what I thought going into this. I knew that when I finished writing the draft that I wanted to add some things because it felt like I needed to add something. So I'm glad to see that there's not any plot issues and I'm halfway into the book. So that's a really good thing. Oh, I put Finn down for a nap, finally. It is almost 2 o'clock, so I'm a little behind, but I'm finishing this read through today because I am determined. So I made more coffee. I am going to transition back to my spot and continue reading Shade of the Shadowlands. Let's go. I needed a snack. I got Finn up, so I'm kind of on a bit of a break. I still have, I'm behind where I thought I would be at this time of day. I still have like 7 chapters left. I still think that I can get them all done today. Also, now that I'm nearing the last half, the final act of the book, I'm totally right. And the first act is really slow moving, so I'm gonna add a couple scenes there, but I think from here on out, because it's more action packed, I think it'll be fine, but I do feel like it's off balance. So I will add some things so that it seems more balanced and makes more sense. That way it's not dragging in the beginning. You don't want the book to be dragging in the beginning to such a, like, so much so that people might stop reading it. So I'm gonna fix that issue first thing. But still, I'm not finding very many plot inconsistencies, just usually mostly minor typo things. So that still stands going into the final section of the book. So really exciting. I'm gonna finish with our little walk out here and then get back inside, see what I can possibly read now that Finn is up. I'm gonna set up in the living room. He's still kind of groggy from his nap, so it'll be a while before he's really running around. So I'm hoping I can at least read one more chapter before he needs me to like sit and play with him. I showered. I also just finished editing. So I finished the read through, but it's getting kind of late. I've made all of my notes. I'm still kind of digesting the whole story, but I've made all of my notes. I didn't end up with very many orange tabs. So let me see if I can hold this up. You can kind of see there are not very many at all, which is a good thing because that means there's not a ton of plot holes. And the ones I were finding are not really plot holes. They're small plot things I might either move or add to. So I think I'm gonna stop for tonight, even though I've finished with the read through, and I will catch up with you guys in the morning with my final thoughts. Good morning. I am dressed and I'm taking June out. So I thought it would be a good time to follow up with you guys and give you my final thoughts about the read through of Shade of the Shadowlands. So first up is something I've already mentioned, I think like 2 or 3 times. The first probably third of the book drags a little. It's good. It is. And there's some good lines in there. There are things happening, but I don't think there's quite enough of the main plot. We lose sight a little bit of everything going on. There's the big hook, and then everything falls silent for a while. So I'm going to go in and add a little more drama into there. I think I'm going to add that in the form of there is a bit of a love triangle in the second book. So I think I'm going to go in and bolster that section by adding a couple more little like titillating scenes. That's not even the right word, but drama there. There's also some spelling inconsistencies throughout the book. And it's funny because it's the exact same spelling inconsistency I had in book 1. And I just couldn't remember when I wrote book 2 which one I picked. So I'm gonna have to go back through my editor's notes and look through book 1 just so everything fits and makes sense. There's also a reveal in the last 4 chapters, I think, in the last 4 chapters of the book. And I'm looking at it, and the reaction that some of the characters have to that reveal does not match the magnitude of it and what we know about those characters. So my first thought was, I'll just fix that. But also, as I was reading the last 4 chapters and got to the end of the book, I decided maybe I don't need this reveal yet. And I think it might provide more drama and intensity if I reveal that in book 3. So I think I'm gonna pull that out, which will be really easy. It's literally, this is how little a reaction they had. It was literally a paragraph, and then in the last chapter, it was mentioned. So I'm gonna go through and pull that out, and that will get moved into book 3, which I think fills a couple issues early on in the outline for that one. I've been outlining the 3rd book, and I feel like I was having a bit of a hard time getting started on that, trying to find some direction. So I'm going to insert that. I think that'll add a lot to the first part of the book. So we'll drop that there. That's pretty much it though. That is like all of my notes. That's how good the read through went. Like I said, you guys saw all those purple tabs. There's lots of little grammar and spelling things, but otherwise the draft's pretty solid and I'm pretty happy. So these plot adjustments I mentioned, they're gonna be really easy fixes because I'm not gonna have to switch things I already have. I'll be inserting some scenes in places, but I don't think I'm gonna have to adjust things around it to do so. So I'm really pleased. And I can't wait to get back to editing it and make all of those adjustments. But I'm gonna leave you guys here. Thank you so much for following along as I did my read through. I will do another vlog like this for the actual editing process. So when I sit down and make all of those adjustments, I plan to do a video for that as well. But thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe down below to my channel so that you get all of these updates, so you see the process as I go for publishing Shade of the Shadowlands. I plan on recording and releasing the publication date super soon. And make sure you follow me on all of my social media. I post really fun updates there daily. I post a TikTok at least 3 times a day. And I have a fun TikTok themed project coming up in the next couple months. So that's it. Thank you guys for following me and all of your kind comments. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.